What if I told you there's a place on Earth where space is closer than land? It's called the Point Nemo, the most isolated place on the planet. This spot in the Pacific Ocean is so far from any continent or island that the nearest humans are sometimes not sailors, but astronauts aboard the International Space Station. That means people in space can actually be closer to this point than anyone standing on Earth. And it gets even stranger. Because it's so remote, the waters around Point Nemo have become a spacecraft graveyard where old satellites and even parts of space stations are intentionally crashed. So yes, there's a place on Earth where astronauts can be your closest neighbors, and where the ocean doubles as a cemetery for space junk.
Imagine a place where the sky never stops flashing. At the mouth of the Catatumbo River, flowing into Lake Maracaibo, lightning storms happen for up to 10 hours a night, 200, 300 days a year. This is called the Catatumbo lightning. Thousands of strikes, almost every single night. It's so consistent, sailors once used it as a natural lighthouse. And the wildest part, scientists still aren't completely sure why it happens. Somewhere on Earth right now, the sky is still flashing. What if I told you there's a condition on Earth where water can boil and freeze at the exact same time? It sounds impossible, but it's real. It's called the triple point, where water exists as ice, liquid, and vapor all at once. This happens at a precise temperature of 0.01 degrees Celsius and extremely low air pressure. While this is usually recreated in laboratories, places with extreme conditions, like near the summit of Mount Everest, show just how strange water can behave when pressure drops.
Did you know the names Greenland and Iceland may have been one of history's greatest tricks? Greenland was likely named by Viking explorer Eric the Red to make the frozen island sound attractive and convince people to settle there, basically using ancient marketing over 1,000 years ago. Meanwhile, Iceland got its name when explorer Hrafnar Flóki encountered sea ice and gave it a much harsher name. The irony is that Iceland is actually greener than much of Greenland today, which makes the names seem backwards. But some historians think parts of Greenland may have been greener when it was named, making the story a mix of real geography, Viking timing, and one very persuasive settler pitch. The weirdest thing about North Sentinel Island is how they entered the Iron Age without fire. While they are a hunter-gatherer society, they use metal tools and razor-sharp arrowheads. They don't mine or smelt ore. Instead, they scavenge shipwrecks on their reefs, like the Primrose in 1981. They've learned to cold hammer the salvaged steel into weaponry, effectively leapfrogging thousands of years of technological evolution using trash from the modern world.
The highlights of human weirdness. The Maya practiced bloodletting from sensitive areas. The Maya used chocolate as actual currency. In ancient Egypt, to mourn a dead cat, family members shaved off their eyebrows. They also used crocodile dung as a not very effective form of birth control. The Romans used human urine as mouthwash because the ammonia helped whiten teeth. They also shared a single sponge on a stick in public restrooms. The Spartans bathed newborn babies in wine to test their strength. Babies who looked weak were often abandoned. The Aztecs played a ball game called ulama, where the goal was to get a rubber ball through a hoop. In some versions of the game, the losing team or the winners were sacrificed to the gods.
The Bermuda Triangle isn't even in the top 10 most dangerous places in the ocean. A 2013 study found you're just as likely to go missing there as anywhere else ships travel. So why the reputation? People see a missing ship and assume there must be something strange behind it, like aliens or portals. But it's usually just extreme weather. The Gulf Stream acts like a conveyor belt, sweeping away debris before anyone can find it. And some scientists think methane bubbles from the sea floor can make water so thin that ships just sink instantly. Turns out the mystery is mostly just bad data and good storytelling.
Did you know that clouds may look fluffy and light, but they're actually incredibly heavy? A typical cumulus cloud can weigh about 1.1 million pounds. That's around 500,000 kilograms, all from tiny water droplets and ice crystals. An average cumulus cloud has a volume of about 1 cubic kilometer, packed with water. Despite their weight, clouds float because they're less dense than the air around them. Those tiny droplets are so small that gravity barely affects them, keeping them suspended. Updrafts help too, lifting them higher into the sky. When they get too heavy, they fall as rain or snow. So, a cloud can weigh as much as 100 elephants, yet it floats effortlessly.
Miles beneath your feet, there is a hidden continent of life we're only just discovering. This is the deep biosphere. It holds nearly 1/5 of all life on Earth. We're talking trillions of organisms living in total darkness and crushing pressure. But these microbes live in slow motion. Some only reproduce once every 1,000 years. They don't need sunlight or oxygen. They literally eat rocks. In South African mines, we found species powered by the radioactive decay of uranium. They've been sealed off from the surface for millions of years. If life can thrive in solid rock at 250 degrees, the search for aliens just changed. We shouldn't just be looking at other planets. We should be looking inside them. The real aliens aren't in space. They're right under your boots. Did you know high heels were originally invented for men in 10th century Persia? They were designed to help them stay steady while horseback riding. High heels also signified status among the wealthy. This footwear was practical for battle and hunting. Later, it became a fashion staple for women in Europe during the 17th century.
Did you know medieval practices were a strange mix of superstition and tradition? In Germany, couples could settle disputes through divorce by combat. The husband stood in a hole with one hand behind his back while his wife swung a sack of rocks, legally recognized. Then there was courtly love, a non-physical romance among nobles, filled with dancing and hand-holding, but no sex until marriage. Castles had spiral staircases to disadvantage right-handed attackers, while left-handed knights had the upper hand. And toilets? They emptied waste outside, creating dangerous points during sieges. Medieval people also placed knives on tables to appease fairies, blending pagan and Christian beliefs. These customs may seem bizarre today, but they held deep meaning back then. Did you know that in ancient Rome, during the festival of Saturnalia, slaves were temporarily freed from their duties? They even served their masters. This wild festival was all about role reversals, partying, and gift-giving. Gambling was allowed, and a lord of misrule was appointed to oversee the chaos. This upside-down world of Saturnalia influenced many modern holiday traditions like Christmas and Carnival.
What if I told you, in parts of Europe, people report a phenomenon called Lluvia de Peces, rain of fish. After intense storms, the ground ends up sprinkled with live fish wriggling on land. The leading explanation? Powerful storm systems or waterspouts suck fish out of rivers or the sea. They carry them through the sky like airborne cargo, and then drop them miles away when the storm calms down. It's like the weather briefly becomes a delivery service with very confused passengers. Locals even celebrate it as a yearly event, because why wouldn't you throw a festival when the sky occasionally serves seafood?